Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video. I know I uploaded a video like a couple hours ago, but I have another video for you guys. There are so many new changes coming to Wild Rift, and as you can see, they mention a monstrous patch. And this patch will be coming on Tuesday. So in today's video, I'll be explaining to you, I'm not gonna explain everything. I'm only gonna explain the important things. So you don't have to read through this entire massive, huge page with all this text. I'm gonna go through all the important things and tell you the changes that are gonna happen to Wild Rift. So let's get into it. The first thing, of course, is that Wild Rift is coming out in America, guys. As you can see here, the new locations. Welcome all players in the new Americas to the open beta. Also, Hong Kong and Macau. I don't really know where Macau is, but as you can see, America will be the game will be coming out in America upcoming Tuesday. Okay, so for you NA people out there, it's gonna be very exciting. So a new champion is gonna get released on the 1st of April, which is Galio the Colossus. I will obviously make a video on him, so I'm not gonna talk too much about him right now. I'll make a video about him later. You know, a full guide. Okay, new features. They are testing position preference. What does this mean? So before you get into a match, you can choose a position that you want to play in the game. For example, if you want to play mid lane, you can click on mid as it reads here, mid. I think it's a little small, so let me just zoom in a little bit and put my camera over here. I think this is a little better. So as you can see, it says mid, support, jungle, duo, solo. Solo means Baron lane, duo means ADC. So you can choose a position and then get into a match, and everyone is gonna have their positions. So you're not gonna have to fill a position. Okay. This is only a test, so you can still get into a ranked match, or you can, test this out. Let's get into the next thing. What is it? All random, all mid. They are bringing out ARAM. Also a test, by the way. And all random, all mid is 5 versus 5 in one lane, which is really exciting. Okay, I'm gonna make videos about that too later. So, as I said, it's basically 5 versus 5 in one lane. That is what the game mode is. All random, all mid. And they're bringing out a new summoner spell, which is the snowball. You can throw the snowball at the enemy and dash to them. It's like ignite, flash, heal. Basically, the snowball is like Lee Sin's first ability. They're only bringing it out in all random, all mid, however. So, this is not very important. The more important things are all the hero changes. So of course they're bringing out the Wild Rift Pass too, which is like a battle pass, where you can do missions and earn rewards. And when you do all the missions, you'll get the Jack skin here. And there's gonna be a free Wild Pass and a paid Wild Pass. And the paid Wild Pass is gonna cost 400 Wild Cores. So it's not very expensive. And the paid Wild Pass is gonna give you more missions, so you can clear it easier than the normal one. Okay, skins, I personally don't really care too much about the skins, except for the Darius skin, but it's not here yet, unfortunately. So, this is all not important. I'm not gonna talk about all this. Here comes the important part, guys. Champion changes, okay? And this is exciting. Let's get into it immediately. Alistar. This cow is too beefy. They are nerfing Alistar's base HP from 650 to 610. What does this mean? On level 1, Alistar is gonna have 40 less HP. So this is a pretty substantial early game nerf, but when you get into the late game, 40 HP doesn't matter anything anymore. This is only an early game nerf because you will still skill up HP. So I don't think this is enough, by the way. By the way, they're also nerfing the first ability, knock up radius from 300 to 275. So this is gonna make it a little harder to hit the enemy with your first ability. So when you engage onto the enemies with your second ability on Alistar, the radius is gonna be a little smaller, so you might not hit all the enemies anymore. It's gonna be a little harder. So I think this is a pretty good nerf. They're also nerfing the damage of it in the late game, which I think is necessary, but I don't think this is enough. This is not enough for Alistar, guys. Alistar is still going to be on the top of the ladder. Okay, Amumu. Amumu is getting a nerf, guys. So let's take a look at what they're nerfing. They're mentioning Amumu is tiptoeing over the line for our win rate tolerance. So we're chipping away at a few of his core stats. They're taking away armor. They're taking... Okay, so this is different. Look, this is different from Alistar. So they nerfed Alistar's base HP, so early game. But for Amumu, they're nerfing his health per level. So this scales into the late game. So this is not a nerf in the early game. This is a nerf in the late game because every time you level up, you're gonna get 10 HP less than you would normally get. So Amumu on level 15 is gonna have 150 HP less than... the Amumu now, you know, they're nerfing that basically. Like you're gonna get 10 HP per level less than normal, which is this is a pretty big nerf already to his tankiness. This is like already this is a pretty big nerf. So let's take a look at what else they did. They nerfed his second ability, damage AP ratio, 1% per 100 AP to 0.75%. This is a 25% damage nerf. What? This is huge. I don't think Amumu is going to be viable in high tier anymore. Like, I think Amumu was broken in the lower elo, but why? Why such a nerf? Like, he's not that good. I know he's pretty good, but he's not that good, guys. They're also nerfing his ultimate cooldown. Damn, like they have no... Amumu is dead. To me, this looks like Amumu is dead. Like, this is bad, guys. This is so bad. So let's get into the next champion. Corki. All they're doing is Corki's attacks will no longer convert physical fab into magic fab and will instead behave as normal because Corki deals physical damage and magical damage. So this is kind of a this is a change, you know. This is kind of a change and a little bit of a nerf as well. They are buffing Darius again, guys. Darius is now unstoppable during his ultimate. So you cannot get stunned during his ultimate. You cannot get stopped. You cannot get knocked up. You are unstoppable. So when you cast your ultimate and the enemies think that they can stop you, they cannot. Okay, you are literally unstoppable. You can just go ham on the enemies. The only way that the enemies can stop your ultimate, however, is by using stasis enchant or by dodging it. And what I mean with dodging it is, for example, Camille's ultimate can dodge it, Fizz can dodge it with his jump, you know, Evelyn can dodge it with her ultimate, you know, you can dodge it. And then you can, of course, stop him. But besides that, he's unstoppable, you cannot stop him. Dr. Mundo. What they're doing about Dr. Mundo is they are nerfing his jungle clear. Because Dr. Mundo used to be able to clear jungle so fast, especially with his third ability. And as you can see, at first, they're nerfing the damage of his first ability to monsters, you know, to make his clear a little slower. Secondly, they're nerfing the cooldown of his third ability. And this also nerfs his jungle clear. So he's gonna clear the jungle a little slower because of this. This is also, like, I don't want to say that this is a big nerf. This is just... It's gonna make his jungling harder because Mundo was always really nice in the jungle because you could clear the jungle so fast. And now he doesn't have that anymore. Okay, they're doing a small nerf on Jhin. All they're doing is they're nerfing the damage of his third ability to non-champions. So it's minions, jungle camps, dragon, baron. Like, I think this was necessary because Jhin used to be able to clear out minion waves so fast with his third ability. I think this is a good nerf. However, guys, actually I'll talk about this later because Jhin is actually gonna get an indirect buff. You'll see. He's gonna get an indirect buff. You'll see. So they are finally nerfing Orianna, guys. Finally. First of all, they're nerfing her base health, which is actually pretty huge because now in the early game she's gonna be squishier. So she's gonna have a harder time trading in laning matchups. So this is already a good nerf. But they're also nerfing the cooldown of her first ability in the early game, as you can see. In the late game, it's still the same. It's still at 3 seconds. They are nerfing the AP ratio by 20%, which is pretty big. And they are nerfing the base damage. So, by the way, this doesn't kill Orianna. This just doesn't make Orianna beyond broken anymore. This makes Orianna balanced. But they're actually nerfing even more. When you use your third ability, you can call back the ball. They're also nerfing that damage. Guys, this was necessary. Honestly, all these changes, these are necessary changes to Orianna. And I still think Orianna's gonna be S tier. Like maybe A tier, but she's still gonna be good. Even with these nerfs, she's likely still gonna be good. No, actually not S tier. She's probably gonna be A tier. I'll make a tier list later when I play her, you know, we'll see. Okay, they're changing some stuff up from Pantheon. When you use his first ability, Enhanced, so when you use his spear with the 5 stacks, you know, when he throws the spear, it will not slow the enemies anymore. It will still do damage, but it will not slow the enemies anymore. Secondly, they're just fixing a bug. I'm not going to talk too much about this one. But third of all, about his shield. First of all, you cannot block turret shots anymore. So it's like the PC version. Secondly, the enhanced third ability. So when you have the 5 stacks, it's not going to have bonus duration. So when it used to be 2.5 seconds instead of 1.5 seconds when you have it enhanced. What it does now is when you enhance it, as it reads here, you will gain 60% movement speed. This is a nerf, okay? This is definitely a nerf to the first ability. This is also a nerf because it now no longer slows. However, they're buffing the ultimate. The spear that lands before Pantheon now slows the enemy for 50%. So it's gonna be easier to hit the enemies with your ultimate, but all in all, this is a nerf for Pantheon, guys. And especially the third ability. Like, this is going to take away so much survivability from you. First of all, you cannot block turret damage. And secondly, it's not going to have the extended duration anymore. So, you know, Pantheon is still going to be fine. This is just a nerf to him. So, okay. Teemo is in a pretty healthy spot in high play, but overperforming at lower ranks. All they're changing on Teemo, guys, is the camouflage channel time. So it's instead of 0.8 seconds, it's gonna take you 1 second to become camouflaged after clicking the ability. This is okay because now it's gonna be easier to catch out in Teemo, and you're like, it's not gonna allow him it's not going to give him enough time to go into camouflage, you know, because 0.2 seconds might not sound like a lot, but it can be a lot in crucial situations. Okay, this is also a huge, like, these are also huge changes coming to the items. So what I'm going to do in this part is I'm quickly going to go over them and explain to you the important changes. Yeah, so let's start with the first item, Force of Nature. Force of Nature is going to be replacing Adaptive Helm. You guys know Adaptive Helm that takes away 15% of the subsequent ability damage you take. Like if you take damage from the same ability, it reduces that. They're removing that item and they're changing it with Force of Nature. So let's talk about Force of Nature. It's going to give you 350 health, 45 magic resist. It's going to cost 2,850 gold. But the important things are the passives. First of all, it gives you bonus movement speed, but this is the important one. Taking ability damage grants you 6 bonus movement speed and 6 magic resist. This is on top of the 5% bonus, by the way. And this stacks up to 5 times. So when you're in an elongated fight and keep taking damage, you're gonna get 5 stacks, and on top of the magic resist that you already have and the movement speed, you will get 30 bonus magic resist, and you will get 30 bonus movement speed. So as you can see, like you can get so much defense from this item. And as it reads here, each unique ability gives 1 stack. So they're actually changing it up by a lot. So if you get hit by unique abilities, you're gonna get the stack. So not by the same ability, which is very interesting. But I think it's gonna be very easy to get the 5 stacks in a fight. This is gonna be a beautiful late game item because you're gonna be tanky already. And like if you get it in the late game, you're gonna be tanky already, and it's gonna allow you to build up those stacks very easily to make you faster and beefier. This is very, very nice. Very nice item. Next item is Frozen Heart. This item, I'm gonna explain to you exactly how this item works. Okay, first of all, 70 armor, 300 mana, 20 ability haste, and it's gonna cost 2,850 gold. What this item does is when you get into the enemies, like it's gonna have an aura around you. You know, an aura, like a circle. And within this circle, it reduces enemies' attack speed by 15%. So let's talk about potential champions that this could be a really good item for. Alistar, of course. You dive into the enemies and you reduce all their attack. You reduce all their attack speed by 15%. This is really good if the enemy heavily relies on attack speed. Like if the enemy has a Jinx, if the enemy has Misfortune, pretty much any ADC. Also maybe Shyvana also kind of relies. Olaf, actually, Olaf. If you're against Olaf and an ADC, this item is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And actually, Shyvana doesn't rely on attack speed, so I don't know why I mentioned that. But you know what I'm talking about, okay? You know what I'm saying. This is really good if you want to reduce their attack speed. Also gives you a lot of armor. 70 armor is quite a lot. Another new item is Winged Moonplate. So let's take a look at this. Winged Moonplate is the new component. This is just a tier 2 item. It's a component for Deadman's Plate. It's gonna give you bonus movement speed, bonus health, and that's it actually. It doesn't give you armor or anything. This is just gonna be a component of the Deadman's Plate, okay? They're changing Sapphire Crystal. Instead of it giving you 300 mana flat, it gives you 100 mana. And this is new. It also gives you 5 ability haste and a new passive. It grants you 5 maximum mana per ability cast up to 250. Basically the same as Tear of Goddess, but now also Sapphire Crystal stacks it up. So it stacks up to 250. So in total you can have 350 bonus mana. And the thing is, when you have the 350 bonus mana, you will have the 5 ability haste on top of it. This is quite huge because now on champions like Orianna, you might be able to just get away with a Sapphire Crystal and then build another item. So you don't have to build the Tear of Goddess, which costs 900 gold. Instead, you can just buy a Sapphire Crystal, which costs 500 gold. However, it does give less mana in the early game though, so keep that in mind. They're changing Tear of Goddess too. They're giving it 10 ability haste, and the bonus mana per charge, instead of 8, you get 7. You know, you'll charge it up a little slower. And new passive, mana gained from Sapphire Crystal carries over into Tear of Goddess. So as it reads, all the mana that you've charged up in the Sapphire Crystal already, it will you will continue charging it up in the Tear of Goddess. Okay. Winter's Approach. This is an already existing item that no one really built, so they're kind of changing it up. So let's take a look. This is new. It gives you 350 health. They removed the armor, so it doesn't give you armor anymore. It gives you bonus mana. Like the mana got buffed because of the Sapphire's Crystal. Ability haste, and it only costs 2,600 gold. This is not expensive, guys. So let's take a look. New passive. It grants you ability haste equal to 1% of your maximum mana. What does that mean? If you have 1,000 mana, it gives you 1% of 1,000, 10 ability haste. And as you can see, it already gives you 500 mana here. So 500 mana, 1% of 500 is 5 ability haste. So when you're building a lot of mana, you know, you will automatically build a lot of ability haste. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people are going to build this item. Like, this item is likely going to be very nice with a lot of mana items, you know. Also, it refunds 15% of the mana spent. So this item is going to give you like unlimited mana. It's crazy. Another passive, increase. Yeah, this is like basically the same as the other tier 3 item. I forgot its name. It increases max mana by 8 with every attack. And it stacks up to 700 bonus mana, guys. Okay? So, Fimbul Winter. What a stupid name of the item. they're changing this item as well. It gives you 350 health. Now they removed 40 armor from it, and also the mana has been changed because of the Sapphire Crystal. Ability is 10, and it's also quite cheap. So new passive, again, this is like they're changing up the passive. It's the same as this one. And here there's another new passive. Frozen Colossus. Immobilizing an enemy champion consumes mana and grants a shield for 3 seconds, absorbing 150 plus 5% current max health for every nearby enemy champion. Wow, guys, wow. This is amazing. Imagine, like, you're engaging onto the enemy with Alistar, for example. You will get a shield when you engage because you're immobilizing enemy champions. It's going to absorb a lot of health because you're going to be super tanky. And it increases for plus 5% current max mana for every nearby enemy champion. This might be a little hard to understand, but basically what it means, if there are 5 enemy champions nearby, it will be plus 25% of your current mana. And actually, I said that it's good for Alistar, but it's actually good for champions that have a lot of mana. Mana, not HP. This is mana, absorbing 150 plus 5% HP current max mana. Mana, yes, not HP. Mana. Jesus, why do I keep saying HP? This effect only activates when you have greater than 20% max mana. So, you know, you'll want to have full mana when engaging a fight with this item. They're actually making mana important now. Like, all the items used to be with HP, but now they're actually changing up some stuff to make mana important too. So, let's take a look at Manamune and Murama. Ability is 10 to 20 because of Tear's change there, you know. Sheen. This is a huge change as well, guys. Sheen. They are buffing Sheen. You do not have to build the mana item for Sheen anymore. So Sheen is going to be cheaper from 1100 gold to 900, but it's still going to give you everything Sheen used to give except for the mana. This is huge, guys. This is huge, because when you build Sheen, you don't build it for the mana, you build it for the damage. So let's take a look. Of course, because Sheen is cheaper, a lot of other items are also gonna get cheaper, because Lichbane builds out of Sheen, so this gets a little cheap. It gets a little cheaper. However, it only gets cheaper by 100 gold. So not 200 gold, because this gets cheaper by 200. Only 100 gold. So Lichbane might have been nerfed a little bit then, because it doesn't provide you mana anymore. So let's take a look at Trinity Force. This is huge. This is a huge buff, because Trinity Force is going to be cheaper now. 200 gold cheaper, as you can see. From 3,733 gold to 3,533 gold. This is huge for champions like Olaf, Darius, Camille, all these champions that don't really need mana. This is absolutely massive, because this might allow you to get the Trinity Force before the first dragon if you get like 1 kill. Because it used to be insanely hard to gather so much gold for the Trinity Force, but now it's 200 gold cheaper. So this is actually a huge buff for Baron lane, a lot of Baron lane champions. So Iceborne Gauntlet. They removed this mana, of course, because of this. And again, the combined cost is... What does it say? Combined cost 600 gold to 800. Yeah, because Sheen is cheaper, they're gonna make it a little more expensive. So as it reads, Iceborne Gauntlet is still as expensive. It doesn't give you mana anymore, but it's still 2,700 gold. So this is a nerf to the Iceborne Gauntlet, guys. So Deadman's Plate. They're also changing up Deadman's Plate. It gives you a new passive plus 5% bonus movement speed. The total gold is unchanged, and that is pretty much it. It doesn't like... I'm not sure what happens to the old passive, but yeah, I'm honestly not so sure about what's going to happen about this item. Like, is this just supposed to be a flat plus 5% bonus movement speed? We'll see, we'll see. Thornmill. We felt applying Grievous Wounds was too far out of the tank's control after having purchased Thornmill. They're changing an item up. So this should give you more ways to apply the debuff. Okay, so what Thornmill used to do is... when you got hit, it applies Grievous Wounds. So let's see what it does now. Upon being hit by a basic attack on hit, reflects 25 plus 10% bonus armor magic damage, while also inflicting Grievous Wounds on the attacker for 3 seconds. Okay, this is what the old passive used to be. So what does it say now? Immobilizing enemy champions also inflicts them with Grievous Wounds. So on top of this passive, which used to be the old passive, when you immobilize the enemy, it will also apply Grievous Wounds, which is really huge. Like, I'm gonna get Alistar as an example again. Let's say you engage with an Alistar with Thornmill. You will apply Grievous Wounds onto all the enemies that you hit. And this is huge. If you're against champions like Soraka or Sona, who have a lot of healing, this is absolutely huge. This is a really nice buff to Thornmill. Sunfire Aegis, they're changing this item. Sunfire Cape is evolving into Sunfire Aegis. So let's look at the changes that they're making. You get more health. They removed the 40 armor. You get ability haste, and the total cost has been unchanged. So let's take a look at the passive. You will deal 16 to 30 damage based on your level, plus 1% current HP bonus to nearby enemies. This is what the passive used to be. And damaging champions or epic monsters with Immolate increases the damage by 8% for 5 seconds. This is new, guys. And this stacks up to 6 times. So when you're in a longer fight, you will stack damage. And this is actually quite huge. This is going to be very beautiful for champions like Mundo, for Malphite, maybe even Nasus. So this is really nice. Like, in a longer fight, you're going to do a lot of damage with this item if you have a lot of armor, because it skills with bonus HP, not armor. If it skills with HP. Also, at max Immolate stacks, attacks burn enemies around you for Immolate's damage over 3 seconds. Immolate deals 150 damage, so you will deal even more damage if you have the full stacks, as it reads. So this item is beautiful if you feel like that you can get into longer fights with your team. This is not an item for burst champions. This is an item for tanks, if you just want to deal damage as a tank as well. The only problem is that they removed the armor. Like, this is huge. It deals huge damage, but it doesn't provide you armor anymore. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. They're making Mortal Reminder 300 gold more expensive. I think this is good. I think this is really good. However, the shifts in the meta are going to be tank. Tank is going to be very good in this meta because, as you can see, Mortal Reminder is more expensive now, and it's way more expensive. And they're buffing all the tank items. Like, look, they're also buffing Random's Omen. They're buffing Warmog. They have so many new items. This is going to be a tank meta. This is going to be a tank meta. Which is like, this is a huge change. And the funny thing is they're also nerfing ADCs, which we're gonna see here. So they're changing the way that champions behave with higher attack speed. Attack speed's effect ratio on attacks wind up time instead of 100% to 50%. So what does this mean? It takes longer to wind up your basic attack. So the more attack speed you get, it doesn't affect your wind up time as much. So when, like, now you can just spam basic attacks, you know, like Jinx, doom, 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 doom. And what it's gonna be now is it's gonna take a little more time to wind up your basic attack. So you're basically not gonna be able to shoot as many basic attacks as you used to. So this patch is terrible for ADC mains, okay? I'm so sorry for you. This patch is absolutely garbage for ADC mains because they're nerfing everything from the ADCs, but this patch is beautiful for tank supports, tank players. So I mentioned earlier in the video that I was gonna talk about Jhin later. This nerf doesn't affect Jhin as much, guys, okay? Because Jhin doesn't have attack speed. Jhin just shoots his shots. This doesn't really nerf Jhin. Like, I think Jhin is gonna get back into the meta because of this change. And the only reason that I think that is because the other ADCs are gonna be way worse. Like, they're gonna get nerfed so hard. So I really hope that this is gonna bring Jhin back into the meta because Jhin doesn't rely on attack speed. Jhin only relies on damage. So, as I said, this is not a nerf to Jhin. This is a nerf to every single champion that uses attack speed except for Jhin. So that, I really like that, okay? Okay, they're changing Ghost as well. The duration is gonna be longer, but the burst, like what they mean with burst top speed reduced is like you won't become super fast for a short duration. They're gonna nerf that movement speed a little bit. So the burst duration is gonna be longer, but the movement speed is gonna be lower. And this is a new passive. On takedowns, the buff's duration is increased by 6 seconds. So basically it's gonna reset. Like as it reads here. No, it's not gonna reset completely because it's 8 seconds, but when you take down an enemy champion, it's gonna be 6 seconds again. This is huge on champions like Nasus, Darius, Olaf. You can build Ghost, you can use Ghost, and when you're able to keep killing enemies, you will be so fast during the whole duration, it's amazing. They're nerfing Ignite's cast range, you know, now instead of being able to cast it in this range, you'll be able to cast it here. Like, it's just not gonna be as far anymore, because it used to be obnoxious. Like, you could just get under a turret, and if an enemy is super low, you can hit him from so far away, which was pretty broken. Whew, Jesus, I'm talking so much. Let me just drink some water 1 second, guys. They're also bringing new pings. So let's take a look. Added 3 new pings for easier team coordination. Ping, enemy has vision here, which is the first one here, which is the eye. You can ping that the enemy has... Oh, my camera broke. Wait, 1 second, I need to fix my camera. Why did my camera break again? I thought that we would have a video with no camera breaks. So yeah, the first one is enemy has vision here. The second one is, which one is it? Enemy missing. You can ping enemy missing. The other one is, where is it? I cannot really find, is it group? No, this is already group. I think they added a new ping to indicate group then actually. And this is going to be attack. So they're just pretty much bringing in new pings, which is really, really nice. You'll soon occasionally receive emails of a player you reported. Yes, they've already implemented this, so you can see that your reports are working, which is very, very nice. You can now equip the same emote in multiple auto-fire spots. Nah, this is not important. Social gaming fights. This doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. They're changing some stuff. They're changing the graphics. Now, you're gonna have new FPS options. So you can do 30 FPS, 40 FPS, 60 FPS, 90 FPS, and 120 FPS if your device allows it. This is amazing, guys, because now you're going to be able to play at 120 FPS. And I really like the 40 FPS because 30 FPS really sucks. And this is for the people that have a trash phone, but like you still don't like 30 FPS, 40 FPS is gonna be way smoother than 30 FPS. It really matters a lot. So I really like the addition of 40 FPS. Dead zone tuning, like as you can see, this means that like here, look, the way that Azrael's casting his ability, when you move your finger a little bit, it doesn't actually how do you say it? It doesn't actually aim the ability. If you move your finger here, which is called the dead zone, you will still auto aim the ability. This is really nice if you guys had problems aiming when you want to auto aim the ability but you accidentally actually aim it. The dead zone is going to be amazing for that, you know, when you cannot keep your finger still. Really nice. This is not so important. They're changing up the tutorial for new players, doesn't really matter that much. Miscellaneous, all this, they're just fixes. They're fixing some stuff and like not very important to say. Okay, that was it for today's video. So many changes. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think are the most exciting changes, and let me know what your thoughts are on this patch. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.